For most of her life, Amara believed her story was simple. She was the only child of a devoted single father. Her mother, she was told, had died shortly after giving birth. It was a story repeated so many times that it stopped sounding like a tragedy and started feeling like a fact. "Your mother was very sick," her father would say gently. "She loved you. But God had other plans." Amara grew up in a clean, well-kept house at the edge of the city. Nothing about the place felt strange. Nothing about her childhood screamed danger. Her father, Mr. Daniel O'Corey, was known by neighbors as a calm, disciplined man. He attended church, paid his bills on time, never drank, never raised his voice. To the outside world, he was respectable. To Amara, he was everything. He cooked her meals, helped with homework, attended school events. And every night, without fail, he locked the doors himself before bed. She never questioned that. As a child, she assumed it was love. As a teenager, she thought it was overprotectiveness. As an adult, she barely noticed it at all. By 21, Amara had grown into a thoughtful, observant young woman. She studied sociology at a nearby university and often found herself fascinated by stories of family dynamics, trauma, and hidden truths. Ironically, she believed her own family story had none. One afternoon, during a lecture on childhood memory suppression, her professor said something that lingered. "Sometimes," the professor said, "what we believe about our past is simply what someone else needed us to believe." The sentence struck her harder than she expected. She brushed it off. After all, her life had been peaceful. Too peaceful. That night, Amara returned home earlier than usual. Her father wasn't back yet, rare, but not alarming. She dropped her bag on the couch and headed to the kitchen. That's when she noticed it. A sound. Faint. Muffled. Almost like movement. It seemed to come from the far end of the house. From a place she rarely thought about. The basement. The basement had always been off-limits. Not explicitly forbidden, but quietly discouraged. "It's just storage," her father once said. "Old things. Dust. Nothing for you down there." And she had obeyed. For 21 years. The sound came again. A soft thud. Then silence. Her heart began to beat faster. She told herself it was nothing. Pipes. Rats. Her imagination. Still. She found herself walking closer. The handle was cold. She hesitated. Then laughed quietly at herself. "Get a grip," she whispered. She turned the handle. The door creaked open. A wave of cold air rushed up to meet her. The light switch at the top didn't work. It never had. She grabbed her phone and turned on the flashlight. Step by step, she descended. The basement smelled. Lived in. Not like dust. Not like storage. Like people. Her chest tightened. As her eyes adjusted, she noticed something impossible. A mattress. Clean. Neatly arranged. Beside it, a small table. With plates. Recent plates. Her breath caught. Someone had been here. Recently. She took another step forward. That's when she heard it clearly. A breath. Not hers. "Hello?" Amara called out, her voice shaking. Silence. Then. Movement. Slow. Careful. And finally, a voice. Weak. Female. "Amara?" Her phone slipped from her hand and hit the floor. The name echoed in her head. No one called her that down here. No one was supposed to know her name. The woman stepped forward. Her hair was unkempt. Her clothes old but clean. Her eyes. Familiar. Painfully familiar. Amara's knees buckled. Who are you?" she whispered. The woman swallowed hard. Tears filled her eyes. "I'm your mother." And in that moment, everything she believed about her life shattered. Amara's mind refused to catch up with what her ears had just heard. Her mother. The word felt foreign. Heavy. Dangerous. For 21 years, that word had belonged to a grave she had never seen. Yet here it stood, breathing, trembling, alive. "This isn't funny," Amara said weakly. This isn't possible." The woman took another cautious step forward, as if afraid sudden movement might scare her away. "I know what he told you," the woman said softly. "I know what you believe. But please, look at me." As the light from the phone illuminated her face, Amara felt something twist deep inside her chest. The resemblance was undeniable. The same curve of the nose. The same wide-set eyes. Even the faint scar above the left eyebrow, identical. "What's your name?" Amara asked, barely audible. The woman hesitated, as though speaking it might bring consequences. "My name is Evelyn," she said. "Evelyn Adebayo." Amara shook her head violently. "No. No. My mother's name was Evelyn Okori. That's what my father said." The woman flinched. "That's because," Evelyn whispered, "he took that name from me too." The basement felt smaller. The walls closer. The air heavier. Amara stood up suddenly. "Stop," she said, backing away. "Just stop. My father would never." The sound of a car pulling into the driveway cut her sentence in half. Both women froze. Evelyn's face drained of color. "He's home," she whispered. Fear unlike anything Amara had ever seen flooded Evelyn's expression. Not panic. Not surprise. This was practiced fear. The kind that had lived inside someone for years. "Please," Evelyn said, her voice breaking. "You must hide. If he sees you down here." Heavy footsteps sounded upstairs. The front door opened. Then closed. Slowly. Deliberately. Amara pulled her hand free. "No," she said firmly. "I'm not hiding. Not anymore." For the first time, Evelyn looked at her daughter not as a child, but as hope. "Then you must be strong," Evelyn said. "Stronger than I ever was." The door creaked. A familiar silhouette appeared at the top of the stairs. Mr. Daniel Okori stood still, watching. For several seconds, no one spoke. Then he sighed. A long, tired sigh. "I always knew this day would come," he said calmly. Amara's heart pounded violently. "You lied to me," she said. "You lied about everything." He descended the stairs slowly. Each step measured. Controlled. "I protected you," he corrected. "From pain. From confusion. From a woman who didn't want to be a mother." Evelyn let out a broken laugh. "That's not true," she said. "You stole my life." Daniel's eyes hardened, but only briefly. "You were lost," he replied. "You didn't know what you wanted. I gave you purpose." Amara stared at him, disbelief turning into rage. "You locked her down here," she said. "For 20 years. She was free," Daniel said sharply. "She had food. A bed. Safety." He paused, then added, "She had family." The words chilled Amara more than the basement ever could. "You kidnapped her," Amara said. Daniel's jaw tightened. "Careful with that word," he warned. "People misunderstand devotion." Evelyn stepped forward. "You took my baby," she said through tears. "You raised her on a lie." Daniel turned to her slowly. "I raised her with love," he said. "Something you were never ready to give." Silence fell. Thick. Unbearable. Amara felt something shift inside her. A lifetime of trust cracking open. "I'm leaving," she said finally. "And she's coming with me." Daniel smiled. But it didn't reach his eyes. "No," he said softly. "You're not. This house is your home," he continued. "The world outside is cruel. Dangerous." Amara laughed bitterly. "You mean like this?" She gestured around. Daniel's calm slipped. "Just for a second. I did what I had to do," he snapped. Then, just as quickly, he composed himself. "And I'd do it again." At that moment, Amara understood something terrifying. This wasn't madness. This was conviction. And people like that don't let go easily. Daniel moved toward the stairs. "We'll discuss this later," he said. "After everyone has calmed down." Amara exchanged a look with Evelyn. No words. Just understanding. As Daniel reached the top step, something caught Amara's eye. A small red light. Blinking. On a shelf near the wall. A camera. Watching. Recording. The truth hit her like a blow. He hadn't just kept her mother hidden. He had been watching her. All along. The blinking light felt louder than any scream. Amara took a slow step backward. Then another. "You were watching her," Amara said, her voice low. "Every day." Daniel turned slowly. For the first time, something close to irritation crossed his face. "I had to make sure she was safe," he replied. "You never know what desperation can make people do." Evelyn let out a hollow sound. "You mean what you did," she said. Daniel ignored her. Instead, he looked at Amara, almost pleading now. "You don't understand how fragile families are," he said. "One wrong choice. And everything collapses. Amara shook her head. Then tell me, she said. Tell me everything. For a long moment, Daniel said nothing. Then he sat down on a wooden chair near the wall. Slowly. Carefully. As though preparing to tell a bedtime story. I met your mother 22 years ago, he began. She was young. Ambitious. Always chasing something better. Evelyn closed her eyes. We were together for a short time, Daniel continued. But she never wanted stability. She wanted freedom. That's a lie, Evelyn whispered. She got pregnant, Daniel said. And suddenly, I mattered. His lips curved into a small, unsettling smile. Or so I thought. When she tried to leave, Daniel went on, I realized something. He paused. I realized I was about to lose the only family I would ever have. Amara felt her stomach turn. So you kidnapped her, she said. Daniel exhaled. I brought her home. I told myself it was temporary, he said. Just until she calmed down. Until she understood, Evelyn laughed bitterly. You locked me underground, she said. While you held my baby. Daniel's voice softened. I raised her, he said. I taught her right from wrong. I gave her love. Amara's fists clenched. You stole her history, she said. You stole her. Daniel stood abruptly. I saved her, he shouted. The sound echoed violently against the basement walls. Then, just as quickly, his voice dropped. From abandonment. From instability. From you. He turned to Evelyn. You would have left her behind eventually. I would have protected her, Evelyn said. From men like you. Silence followed. Heavy. Amara's mind raced. She understood now. This wasn't about love. It was about control. You didn't want a family, Amara said slowly. You wanted ownership. Daniel's eyes darkened. Careful, he warned again. Amara took a step back. Then another. Her heel brushed against something metallic. She looked down. A loose pipe. Evelyn noticed too. Their eyes met. A silent understanding passed between them. Upstairs, a phone buzzed. Daniel glanced instinctively toward the sound. Just for a second. That second was enough. Amara grabbed the pipe. Her heart hammered. Not to attack. To defend. We're leaving, she said. Now, Daniel laughed quietly. You won't make it past the door. You think the world will believe you? He continued. A woman hidden for years? A daughter raised on lies? Amara swallowed hard. I believe me, she said. Daniel stepped aside slowly. Too slowly. Go on, he said. Try. Something in his tone made Amara's skin crawl. Halfway up, Evelyn stumbled. Amara caught her. At the top, daylight poured in. Freedom. So close. Suddenly, the door slammed shut. Hard. The lock clicked. Amara spun around. Daniel stood at the bottom of the stairs again. The pipe was gone from her hands. She hadn't even noticed when he took it. I told you, he said gently. This family doesn't end. For the first time since she was a child, Amara felt real fear. Not fear of the dark. Fear of the man who raised her. And then, sirens. Faint. Distant. But unmistakable. Daniel froze. What did you do? He asked quietly. Amara said nothing. She just stared at the blinking camera. The truth had been watching him too. The sirens grew louder. Then softer. Then louder again. Daniel's expression shifted, not to panic, but calculation. You think sound means rescue? He said quietly. This house is far from the road. Evelyn clutched Amara's arm. Her body was trembling now, exhaustion catching up with years of fear. You called someone, Daniel said, eyes narrowing. Who did you call? Amara finally spoke. I didn't, she said. You did. Daniel frowned. The camera, Amara continued. You've been recording everything, right? Daniel's jaw tightened. For my protection, he said. Exactly, Amara replied. And now? It's yours. She gestured toward it. Every word. Every threat. For the first time, uncertainty crossed Daniel's face. The sirens returned, louder now. Nearer. Daniel backed away instinctively. A loud knock thundered through the house. Please. A voice called. Open the door. Evelyn collapsed into Amara's arms. Daniel laughed. A soft, broken laugh. You always ruin things, he muttered. The knock came again. Harder. Daniel looked at Amara. Not as a daughter, but as a stranger. I only wanted us, he said. You built a cage, Amara replied, and called it love. The door burst open. Light flooded the basement. Officers poured in. Guns raised. Commands shouted. Daniel dropped the pipe. It hit the floor with a dull clang. Hands grabbed him. Forced him to his knees. It's okay, an officer said gently to Amara and Evelyn. You're safe now. Safe. The word felt unreal. As Daniel was led away, he turned once more. You'll come back, he said. You'll realize the world isn't kind. Amara met his gaze. Maybe, she said. But at least it will be honest. The story exploded. News crews. Neighbors. Questions. A missing woman found alive after 2 decades. A daughter raised inside a lie. Daniel's recordings became evidence. His words played back in court. Calm. Justified. Unrepentant. The judge called it calculated imprisonment. The psychologist called it delusional attachment. Amara called it the end of a childhood she never truly had. Evelyn spent weeks in the hospital. Her body healed faster than her mind. Some days, Evelyn spoke freely. Other days, she stared at the wall, lost in memories she wasn't ready to share. Amara stayed. Every day. Learning how to be mother and daughter, slowly. Awkwardly. Gently. 1 year later, image 106, small apartment with sunlight streaming in, they live together now. Not in the old house. Never again. Evelyn attended therapy. Amara finished her degree. They laughed sometimes. Cried often. Healed always. One evening, Amara asked a question she had avoided for months. Why didn't you escape? Evelyn thought for a long time. Because fear is quiet, Evelyn said. It convinces you that survival is the same as living. Amara nodded. But you saved us, Evelyn added. You were braver than I ever was. Amara returned once. Just once. She stood outside. Didn't go in. Some doors, she knew now, were never meant to be reopened. Because truth, no matter how painful, is always better than a beautiful lie.